I check my attention for an entire day to see where my focus is actually going. My attention, not just my time. So to me, that distinction is very important because sometimes you might spend your time doing something, but you're not actually focused on it. You might be studying, but the entire time you're daydreaming, or the entire time you're freaking yourself out about the upcoming test. Regardless of what it is, your attention and your time are not always the same thing, and you might be putting a lot of time into one thing, but your attention is going into something completely different. So I decided to do this experiment on myself to track what my attention is actually on throughout the day, and does it align with what I think it's on and with what I want and need it to be on for my goals and the things that I'm trying to accomplish. So I split this experiment into three parts, tracking my mornings, my afternoons, and my evenings, because I think naturally everybody sort of has a shift in how they spend their time and their attention throughout the day. So I just, again, wanted to figure out how my priorities shift and change throughout the day. In the mornings, unfortunately, a lot of my attention went to my phone, which is something that I don't really like to admit, but I am a doom scroller. And so I noticed that in the morning, the first thing I do is I go on my phone. And I don't just go on my phone to check the time, turn off my alarm, but I go on my phone to go and doom scroll, which is very, very, I don't really like that. But I'm also not really surprised by that. It's something that I kind of know I've been doing for a while. But again, I wanted to dive a little deeper and see really like what is it that truly draws me into something? And I noticed that even when I was on my phone, and I think this part was very interesting, is that when I go on like social media, I'm not looking for funny, dumb videos to watch first thing in the morning. I'm looking for the people who have really smart takes. I'm looking for like news or think pieces. And that's sort of like the first thing that I really pay attention to in the morning is think pieces. And I just find it very interesting how instead of getting up and being productive and maybe looking at the news or thinking about my own think pieces and kind of just trying to get my brain activated, I think the first thing that I watch are think pieces from other people. And I don't necessarily know how I feel about that because I don't necessarily think that's the horrible thing, but I also just think it's very unhealthy that perhaps I'm watching those types of things on like TikTok and YouTube as opposed to Substack or reading the actual news. And this goes on for quite a bit. And I kind of just stay on my phone until it becomes like a non-negotiable that I have to go to the gym. I am a morning gym person, so I like to go relatively early-ish in the mornings. And when I'm at the gym, I think my attention is pretty much where it needs to be. It's at the gym. I'm somebody that's very focused on my form. So when I'm at the gym, I focus just a lot on my body. What am I feeling? Am I feeling the right muscles? Am I feeling anything I don't think I should be feeling? Um, and just thinking about like how I'm here, I'm doing this for me. I am still kind of new to the gym, so I think there is that a little bit of anxiety that people are watching me or that maybe my form might not be that good. But I try to ignore that just because I think like I'm not really noticing other people like that, so I highly doubt anybody's really noticing me like that. And we all start from somewhere. So if somebody who's more experienced in the gym is looking at somebody who is obviously less and being like, "Oh my God, that's so embarrassing," then that says something about them, has nothing to do with me. And if somebody who is inexperienced in the gym is looking at me who's also inexperienced in the gym, we can't be judging. So I'm just kind of hoping that we're both looking at each other with like a we're in this together type situation. So I was definitely paying attention to perhaps how I was being perceived, but I was not really letting it get to me. And I was trying to focus in on what I needed to focus in on, which was my workout and my form. So the afternoons were really eye opening for me because I don't doom scroll as much as I do, say, in the morning time. But I noticed that I do pick up my phone here and there. And those 20 seconds, 30 seconds, a minute, they kind of add up. And in the afternoon, just because there's a lot more happening, I might pick up my phone for a phone call from a friend. I might pick up my phone because I'm getting a text message from my doctor. I might pick up my phone because I got a notification and I'm just curious to know what it is. But there's just a lot more activity just generally from like the outside world that I attend to in the afternoon. And I think that that's actually was quite eye-opening because I am a yapper. I love to talk to my friends. And so if I get a text from my friend or I get a phone call, I will think like this is not really going to affect my time that much, but before you know it, I could have spent 30 minutes on a phone call or an hour on a phone call with my friends or chatting here and there, and it kind of does accumulate to about the same. And again, that's not a bad thing. I love my friends. I want to continue socializing with them, but it's just something that I never thought about as something as that could like take up so much of my time. And if I'm thinking it's taking up that much, like if it's taking up too much of my time, do I need to maybe try and force myself to limit how many people I'm talking to in a day? Like I am a very like social butterfly and I do love chatting to people, so maybe I just need to limit how much I chat to people or the number of people just so that I can give myself more time to focus on other things that are also important, but still acknowledge that like my friendships and my relationships are important and they still also deserve some time. Even like trying to navigate that situation and having that thought of like, that's so fascinating. What do I do? So eye-opening. Like I highly recommend that you actually take time and really sit with yourself and figure out what you're focusing on. Like you will learn so much about where your time is going, obviously, where your focus is going, what you value, what your needs are. Like you will learn so much in just one day. Highly recommend everyone does this challenge. It was so fun. By the nighttime, I settled down a lot more. I feel my brain sort of shutting down. So I actually feel like I am the most consistent doing stuff at night because I just, quite frankly, I just don't have the energy to move from one thing to the next, one thing to the next. And again, amazing fast observation because I never really realized how tiring it is to constantly have your attention stolen very quickly from one thing to the next. So at nighttime, I'm definitely my most consistent. I can sit down and watch a movie at night and that's it. I can hear a lot of what's happening outside, and so in at night, that's actually when I'm the most aware of, like the cars driving by, or the emergency vehicles, or just the ambient noise of the world around me. I notice that the most at nighttime, which again, very fascinating. But I can definitely notice that that's when my brain shuts down, and so it makes me wonder if maybe I need to try and adopt some sort of maybe try and adopt my nighttime routine a bit more, or just, how I kind of go about my day a bit more. Maybe just need to be far less stimulated, more tired. I don't really know what the solution of that would be. But yeah, like definitely the nighttime was the best. And it was a time when I felt the most productive. Like I could really sit down and get things done. Like if I wanted to read a book, I'm reading a book at night because I feel like I can actually sit down and read that book. And it's not necessarily because I feel as though I have more time, but it genuinely is just that I know I will be able to focus. There are times when I feel like I have 30 minutes to spare to read in the afternoon. I'm not reading in the afternoon because I just think I won't focus on it. So there's definitely something that's happening at nighttime that I could probably adopt a bit more throughout the rest of my day. But after paying attention to, how I operate throughout the day, the main biggest thing that I noticed that does take up my time, and this kind of happens consistently throughout morning, afternoon, and evening, is that thought that I should be doing more, or that I have things to do that I don't want to do, that I'm scared to do, that I don't know how to do. And I get stuck in that cycle of just thinking about like, I should be making a YouTube video right now, but I don't know how to make a YouTube video and I'm scared. If I don't make a YouTube video, then that there goes another year without me making a YouTube video. Or I need to email my manager, but I don't know how to email them, and so I'm just gonna sit and ruminate on how I should email them. And that takes up so much of my time. And I don't really know what that is called, but definitely like overthinking and overanalyzing about everything that needs to be done, or, just things that I have on my plate rather than putting the work to do them takes up honestly a lot of my time because in a day I could tell you I have done absolutely nothing. I don't know where my time is going. I don't know where my focus is on. And obviously that doesn't make sense because I have the same 24 hours as everybody and I'm awake and I'm doing things just like everybody else, but where like what do I have to show for it? How am I accounting for all that time? I did not know. And it's because like I realize now just how much of my time is spent worrying about the future or downplaying myself and negative self-talk rather than just doing what needs to be done today. Right? Like if I'm like I need to make a YouTube video because I don't want to go another year telling myself I'm going to make YouTube instead of just sitting there and thinking like, oh my gosh, like I don't know what I'm gonna say. Oh my gosh, like the time is like the day is kind of ending. Oh my gosh, the lighting is horrible. Oh my gosh, whatever it is. Rather than sitting and thinking about all those negative things, I could just create a really bad video. And that's kind of what I think I'm doing now. Like I hope this video comes out better. But like that was literally me this morning was got back into that like, oh my gosh, I should probably make that video of my observations, but like I don't know how to film a video. I don't know like how to like talk articulately. Like I don't know what to say. I don't know how it's gonna look. And I think I probably had that on my mind for like maybe like 30 minutes today. And like, yeah, I was doing other things, but like, at one point I was working. Like, like, I'm doing the work, but like my focus is somewhere else. You know what I mean? So it's like I noticed that I'm definitely like I've always kind of known I'm a somebody who definitely overthinks, but it's very different to know you're one thing and then really realize just how much time it's actually taking up. Like overthinking was taking up way too much time that I'm like, okay, we're gonna stop this. When we have things that need to be done, when we have anxieties, we are going to work towards them and not just constantly think about the anxieties that we have. So that's what I'm doing. But that was by far, for me, the biggest chunk of my time. And it has eaten up hours, days, and if not weeks at this point of my life. If I really sit down and think about how long I have been doing these things, like they have taken up so much of my time. And time truly is the most valuable asset you have because it is once it's gone, it's never coming back. So there is so much value in like doing these types of experiments on yourself. I have learned so much about myself. I have learned so much about my time, my attention, and I'm so excited to like use these insights and try and figure out like what actually works best for me instead of just like what I'm hearing from other people, instead of just like I don't know what I'm reading from a book. Like taking the time to actually figure out like okay, like I like stuff that stimulates my brain in the morning because I like to watch or engage with things that are a bit more stimulating in the morning. So, is there anything else I can do that's mentally stimulating in the mornings that doesn't involve like wasting my time doom scrolling, for example? I've learned that and now I'm trying to figure out what that could look like. But it's just very, very eye-opening and very insightful to just realize like your time and your focus could be completely separate. And what's really important is your focus and your attention. Because again, you could spend an hour doing something and you really have not paid attention to it for that hour. So I really enjoyed this. It taught me a lot about myself. I hope that there were some useful insights that maybe you guys could take. And I really encourage everybody who is watching this video to also do this experiment literally for a day. Do it, break it up into 3 days. Focus on the morning one day, the afternoon on another day, and your evening time the last day. And maybe focus on specific things. You could also use this during work, like when you're at work, are you actually focused on work, are you worrying about something else that's work related? Like it's very interesting and very good to just be more mindful and spending more attention noticing the things that you need to notice. So yeah, I'm very happy with what I learned, and I hope this was useful. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I enjoyed making this. And if you have any comments or video ideas or anything, please shoot them down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. And yeah, I can't wait to create something else for next week.